Good morning, adventurers. My name is Ben, and welcome to a morning show where I sit around, drink some tea, and talk about D&D. So, today on the newsreel, we really only have one piece of news-ish, and then something else that's very exciting that's happening that also kind of rolls over into the stream. So we will just start with the other thing. First off, we have found out that the Owlin race is coming in Strixhaven. That is a player character race that is built around the giant owls, essentially, from the Feywild, from the Monster Manual. So that is very exciting. We are getting another instance of bird people, which is cool because up to this point, we've just been reskinning the Aarakocra in whatever way we want, or the Kenku, but largely the Aarakocra because the Kenku is really difficult to play unless you really know what you're doing, and it's not that it's not fun for a long game. It's just that typically it's not the most exciting thing to play over the course of a long game because you have to develop your own specific language, which can be entertaining, but the fact that you can't communicate in a normal way to the rest of the table is difficult. And by communicate in a normal way, I of course mean the fact that Kenkus can only, via lore, so you can ignore it all you want at your table, they can only mimic sounds that they have heard, which is very restricting. They can combine them in different ways, but it does make it a little bit harder to actually play. So getting another race of birds, this one presumably either more focused on stealth or mind or both, is going to be pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. The thing that rolls between news and streams is D&D Celebration is starting tonight with the Session 0 is what they're calling it. It is the preview for D&D Celebration. It is happening tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the kickoff to the whole weekend worth of programming, which, again, we'll talk about more tomorrow. There is a lot on the docket. So be looking forward to that. If you want to catch a glimpse early, then tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern tonight in order to see that. D&D Celebration has partnered with Extra Life, I think again this year. I'm pretty sure they've done it a couple of times, to create apparel for the event, which is really cool. It's got a Displacer Beast kitten on it with a hugging a large D20, saying something to the effect of "Be a hero, play D&D," or "Play D&D, save a life," or something like that. I literally just looked at it, but it has already gone out of my brain, so I cannot remember which one it is. But it is very cool. The core color for it this year is purple, which is awesome. I love colorful shirts in spite of what it looks like every day on here where I just wear a dark colored shirt. I promise I do like colors. But Extra Life is a phenomenal charity. They are all about getting games into hospitals for kids who are obviously stuck in those hospitals. And during the pandemic, with the limited accessibility to hospitals, it's even better to have something to help put smiles on those kids' faces. So if you are able to, please go check them out. Go check out some of the merch. See if there's anything on there that you want to buy. Again, the Displacer Beast kitty is super cute, hugging a big old D20. It's absolutely precious. So if you can, check that out. Again, the stream time for that is 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Moving along in the stream realm is Tabletop Tavern, specifically the Tabletop Tavern, at 8 Eastern Time. They're playing 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time today on twitch.tv/the Tabletop Tavern _. It is run by a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, Jenny from Just Jenny _ on Twitch, or justjenny.tv on TikTok. She's been phenomenal. I've been playing in a couple of games with her. She's hysterical. And I am excited to get to see more of her DMing style, because she's got one of those like chaos bones in her body, and it's just a lot of fun to play around with. So check them out after D&D Celebration tonight. moving right along from the news and the streams. Today, it's Thursday. Oh God, I inhaled a little bit there. But today is Thursday, which means that it is Third Party Thursday, which means that I get to talk about one of my favorite books that is not a core D&D book. Today, we are talking about the Tome of Beasts. Anybody that has followed along with me for a long time over on TikTok knows that I adore Kobold Press's stuff. Almost universally, every book I've gotten from them has been phenomenal. And this one is actually the first one that I ever got from them. So I am super excited to get to talk to you guys about it today. Honestly, it's gonna be a weird one to talk about just because it's literally all monsters. For I think it's like 400 something, 427 pages. It's just literally all monsters. And so the fact that we have a book of all monsters from a third party like that is phenomenal. And actually, I picked this one specifically because there is one section that I want to highlight in this book as we go through it, which, again, we are going to be going through it in just kind of we're just going to kind of cruise on through this one because it's all monsters. That's all you need to know. It is a expanded monster manual sort of compendium thing. There is the Tome of Beasts 1, Tome of Beasts 2, Creature Code. Like, there are several of these that we will cover all of at some point on this show, I am sure. But this one was the first one I got. This one is super cool. Specifically, from the back, it highlights clockwork creatures, drakes and dragons, devils and archdevils, dangerous flavors of the fae, undead, and much more. And that second to last one is the thing that I really want to sort of lean into. I was trying to figure out the best way to talk about this for more than 6 minutes or an hour and a half, where I just sat around and highlighted monster stat blocks, which does not sound particularly entertaining, mind you. It would be fun for me. It probably wouldn't be the most exciting thing for you. But yeah, no, I'm doing this for entertainment purposes for you guys. So I should probably do something that is fun for you. However, I just want to first start off by just look at the art on these things, right? Like, that is some gorgeous art, and they have art on effectively every single page in this book. If it's just text, it's because it's got lore or it's got an extended stat block or something like that. There's art for almost every single monster in this book, which is so cool. Here you go. Here's a good example of one that does not have art on both pages, but it's because they've got optional rules over here. This is a dinosaur, a Spinosaurus. Yep, Spinosaurus. It's got an extended stat block that reaches over 2 pages, and then it's got rules for them to be mounts and in Southlands, which is one of their settings that they talk about a lot. But obviously, you can put them in whatever setting you want to, because that is just kind of how D&D works. If you see something you like, you take it, you rip it, and you put it into your own sort of thing. The monsters in here range from challenge rating, I believe 0 at certain points, all the way up to, what's the highest one? I want to say it's 26. I don't think they have a 30 in here, but I don't know for sure. I can't quite remember. There's some of them that do, some of them that don't. And I don't believe that this one has an appendix of monsters by challenge rating, but that is a-okay. We don't necessarily... Oh, no, it does. Look at that. Oh, it just says 20 and up. I believe it gets up to 26 or 27. I don't think it hits a 30, but that's neither here nor there, really. I do want to show you guys this appendix here with the Monsters by CR thing. It is stretched across these 2 pages here, right? And if you look, and you won't be able to super well see it just because of the way that this is working, because it's little text, because it's an appendix on 2 different pages. But over here, where my left hand is, this right here, this title is Challenge 10, which means that every single monster over on the entire page that my other hand is on and up to this point is below CR 10, which means that they have filled this thing with lower level monsters, which is awesome, because as most D&D players know, D&D campaigns don't necessarily always get up to that higher level, and so it is fantastic to have this many other monsters you can throw at your players. What's really nice about the monsters in this book is that they are so like drag and droppable, if you will. You just have to find the one that you like, and you can just sort of move it straight on over. They don't have that. I have found more often than not that I don't need to adjust the stat blocks of these things. I don't need to reflavor them for something that I want to do, because there's always an option somewhere for that, instead of me having to find something and be like, well, this is close enough. Let's just shift this here and this there. So it is awesome to be able to do just that as a whole. I also would say, and I say this because I believe it. However, obviously take it with a grain of salt, because every table is different. I think that the monsters in the Kobold Press books as a whole, but specifically the Tome of Beasts, are ones that are more true to the actual challenge rating set forth, which is a bold statement, because obviously Wizards of the Coast are the ones that define challenge rating when they created 5th edition. That said, I think that if you find a CR10 monster in here, it is often, oh boy, I am way out of focus. It is often going to be a more accurate representation of an actual CR10 monster than most of the CR10 monsters you find in the WotC books. So, again, everybody's opinion is going to be different on that one, but I think they are a more closely accurate representation of the actual challenge rating than you run into a lot of the time. So, into the couple of things that I actually really wanted to talk about. Again, this thing is filled with all different manner of monsters, so there's so much to take a look at in here. However, I wanted to highlight the fact that they have... I wanted to highlight the fact, in honor, I guess, of the fact that Wild Beyond the Witchlight came out on Tuesday. Again, go check your local game store if you want to pick up a copy of it. It's super cool. I also plug... you should tune in tomorrow for my review of it. I will have gone through everything, taken some notes, and I'm going to talk about it with you guys at that point. I want to highlight the fact that they have a full section of hags in here. I say full section. There are 4 of them. There are more robust sections in other books, so this isn't the best example for that, but it has another section here that I think is really fitting to go with the Feywild expansion. But they have a set of hags that range from, we've got a challenge 11, a challenge 6, a challenge 7, and a challenge 5. So those are some good mid to low level hags. Oftentimes they're either really low or super high, and you can't use them as easily in your games. So I love having these mid-level monsters in here because they are super fun and easy to pull from. And again, if you are going to the Feywild, there are not as many super easy to pull monsters in the Wizards books, so having this is super, super helpful. Now, leaning more into the Feywild bit of it, again, the part that I really want to talk about more than anything with regard to this book, because I could sit here and sing its praises all day long. I have done that so for almost 15 minutes at this point. Not really the point. They have a full section in here on Fey Lords and Ladies. So if you are planning a Feywild adventure, you should take a look at this and read through these guys, because they are complete with the section I just showed you, which is full lore for each of them. I say full. It is, a good couple of paragraphs of lore, and then they are all different legendary creatures. Each one of them is a legendary creature that comes with, obviously, legendary actions, layer actions, and regional effects. So they get all of the same treatment that things like dragons do in the Wizards books, which is phenomenal. Okay? So much of the, how do I want to say this? So much of the flavor, there we go, of Fey realms, Feywild mini realms, sub realms, whatever you want to call it, are rooted in the most powerful thing in that realm. I'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow in my review of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, but one thing you need to know about the Feywild is that so much of it, and the way that it expresses itself essentially, is rooted in the single most powerful being in whatever realm, sub-realm it is. So the fact that they provide you with lore and regional effects for each of these Fey lords and ladies means that you are getting a super comprehensive picture of each of what each of their realms should look like, which is awesome. And they do sort of hit the full range of different types of things. You've got the Bear King, you've got the Lord of the Hunt, you've got the Moonlit King, you've got the Queen of Night and Magic, you've got the Queen of Witches, you've got the River King, you've got the Snow Queen. That is all of them that are presented in this book. But as you could imagine, they sort of hit the full range, right? And I mean, I say full range. Their alignment sort of hit the full spectrum of things, but also they encompass a lot of the different sort of spheres that you would expect these things to exist in. And because of that, it gives you a pretty good comprehensive picture of a way to brew up your own if one of these doesn't fit what you're looking for. So if you wanted to add a Fey Lord or Lady to a game that you're playing, and for some reason these don't work and you can't find one that works among the other books or among the internet somewhere, it provides you with a pretty good picture of an outline for how you should brew up your own, which is really, really cool. And I love it when books give you enough information to be able to make your own moving forward from there, because I really enjoy homebrewing, and so I think that more people should lean into that a little bit more and allow themselves, essentially, the creative freedom to be able to do that. And again, art on all of these, they are all 2-page spreads, which is cool. So you've got a full stat block plus a page almost full of art. I think that my favorite one, though, is the Queen of Night and Magic. Like, she looks so cool. And if you can see this well enough, I think you can, that her dress is effectively made of starlight and a starscape. That is so cool. And then honorable mention, of course, has to go to the Snow Queen, simply because it's just Elsa. It's let it go, man. This book honestly might have, I would have to check the date on that before I would actually make the claim that this came out before Frozen. However, I think it's just kind of funny. Obviously, Elsa is based on actual real-world lore, and so they could have just pulled it just as easily from that. But it is funny to me that exists as a thing. Now, through the rest of this book, past the Fey creatures specifically, you run the full gamut of different creatures, different creature types, and different subsections like this Fey one, where there are just plenty of creatures that fit within that category. There is a full dragon section where they talk about different dragons and drakes, which is really cool because I said it already on this show before. I love dragons. It's half the name. I think you should always have more dragons in the show. I do think you should have more dragons in the show, but I also think you should have more dragons in the game, which is actually what I wanted to say. So that is everything that I really wanted to highlight about this book. It is, again, phenomenal. I highly encourage you to get this if you are a DM who is either struggling to fill out your monster roster, or if you are a DM who wants to expand the monster list that they have access to. This thing is awesome. It's a phenomenal resource, and Kobold Press does really, really great work. Again, you will see other books by them before too long on this specific segment of this show, Third Party Thursdays. So stay tuned for that, because I love their stuff. I think it's awesome. But I am obviously going to be trying to pump other third-party supplements in around them, because if I was just plugging this, then it wouldn't make sense to just call it Third Party Thursday. I'd have to come up with some fun alliteration for Kobold Press, which none of the days of the week start with K, so that would be a little bit more complicated for me. Oh well. But that is everything I have to talk to you guys about today. Thank you so much for making me part of your morning routine. I really, really do appreciate it. You are all phenomenal for hanging in there, watching this video, listening to me as I ramble on about a fun book. Again, tune back in tomorrow for a full rundown review of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and stay tuned for more information regarding D&D Celebration, which should be really, really cool. Go check them out tonight. Again, if you can, get some merch, get some apparel to help support Extra Life, because it is a phenomenal charity. Honestly, if you want to just go check out Extra Life and donate straight to them, just as good, if not better. This way you just also get some cool swag out of it. So, it was just a thought. But once again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you for subscribing, following, liking, whatever it is, because the more of you that do that, the better I can do this show, the longer I can do this show, and I am really enjoying doing the show. And an extra special thank you to all of my patrons, who are the ones that really make this show possible. Thank you guys so much. If you are able to and would like to support the show, go ahead and check the link in the description of this video to go and make a pledge today to help support the show. Once we hit a certain amount per month, I'm going to be able to host this as a podcast as well and produce audio-only formats of it. So if you want to see that and want to be able to get that on your major podcasting platform, go ahead, follow that link, and make a pledge. Anyway, that is all I have to talk to you guys about today. Thank you once again so much for tuning in and making me part of your morning routine. I really do appreciate it, and I could not do it without you guys. But until next time, keep on rolling.